way takes us to the lighthouse. Now, have any of you climbed the lighthouse? How was it up top? Okay, now one of the big events at the lighthouse is a full moon climb. I think we have a full moon coming up within the next day or two. Pretty neat, do a night climb. 157 and a half feet tall. Did you count the 199 steps going up? Yeah, I'm sure your calves coming down were a little bit tight. 2 million people have made the climb over the last 40 years. That, however, what you're looking at is the third lighthouse. What's left, the first two are underwater as Mother Nature continues to change the shoreline. All lighthouses in New Jersey are unique by color. This one at the base is 3 feet thick and at the top is 1 foot thick. We're going to set you up for a picture, okay? It's real tough to get a good shot up close. So we're going to, as we make our way back around, we're going to put you in a good place for a good photo. This little building here, the little white building, was the oil house. Before they had electricity, they were just using oil. And then, of course, during World War II, this was a military base. So the wood buildings down there were officers' barracks. And then you see the walkway up on the dune onto an observation platform. They're looking right down onto the beach. It is not where you want to go swimming. It's a beautiful beach, but it is a very quick drop-off. And then that bunker, you see the green and the red containers. If you were to kind of go in diagonally about maybe 100 yards, you could come to the bunker of the beach. Bless you. And in fact, nature trails down here. Mike and I keep waiting to be invited to one of the local barbecues. They have not come through for us now. But as we make our way around this little curve here, we're going to give about 10-15 seconds to get you a shot of the lighthouse. There you go. You can do your little Leaning Tower of Pisa thing if you want with your fingers. Yep. Sorry. Oh, no problem. You're good. Thank you. Did you get the fingers working back there? It's not easy.
It's hard.
Yeah. You know, my wife and I traveled, and we were in Pisa, which is beautiful. If you've never been there, it really is beautiful. But I had the hardest time trying to get that thing measured out. All right, as we leave the park, I'm going to point out a building. I mean, we can't go past it. It's in the distance a little bit. It's kind of a reddish roof. The marker is a cross on top. So it started out in the 1890s as a hotel, and then eventually the Catholic Church bought it, and they converted it to a retreat for nuns. So as we get to the exit, look down the way on the left, you'll see the cross. When the church had it, it was known as St. Mary's by the Sea. It is a U-shaped building right on the beach looking out where the ocean and bay come together. And the nuns would be down there every year until COVID, and then they stopped coming. And then the locals were stunned a few years ago when the church announced that they were going to allow the building to go to the sea. What? You're kidding. They weren't kidding, and they were not going to be dissuaded. Eventually, fortunately, an agreement was reached, and that building is now a Science and Environmental Studies Center. You can take a tour of it. But Google St. Mary's by the Sea, Cape May Point for some spectacular shots of a really neat building. All right, back to Wanamaker. Everybody knows he owned the department stores and all that stuff. But what most people don't know is that he was a cabinet member for President Benjamin Harrison. He was Postmaster General. And when Harrison was president, the White House was getting electricity. So he had to vacate. Where did he go? Well, he set up his offices at Congress Hall. But he lived out here with Wanamaker, and they worshipped in one of the little churches on the circle, and it was known as Beadle Memorial. It still exists today. Wanamaker had built the church named for his pastor in Philadelphia. 2 weeks ago, I got into Beadle Memorial. The most beautiful little church I've ever seen. Wooden arches, gorgeous. Little plaque out on the porch indicating the presence of both Wanamaker and President Harrison. If you get a chance to wander over there, that might be a nice little field trip. Okay, so now I get to my favorite part, my fun part. This is where I get to talk about the locals and what makes this place so special and so unique and the traditions that go with it and the Cape May attitude. All right, so let me start with a couple of rather well-educated young ladies who went to Europe and learned how to bake bread. And they do bake bread really well. They came back here and decided they would bake and sell. They're down to one young lady at this point, but when they're only open 2 or 3 days a week. You need to be there an hour ahead of time. That's when the line starts, an hour before they open. And the locals will bring their beach chairs and their books and they'll sit and they'll wait until they're open. The problem is the line goes all the way down Sunset Boulevard. There's no guarantee you're actually going to get some bread. Now, they sell this bread out of a rather interesting facility. Not exactly a palace. How about more like an outhouse? All right, so let's take a peek here. This opening coming up on your left. This is the bread palace here on your left. There's your summer schedule. Tuesday. Monday, Tuesday. All right. 10 a.m. here at 8:30. First of all. 8 o'clock. Now, down the way a little bit and back in, where you can see a lot of farms, but a couple of places you might want to visit. One of them is Beachcomb Farm. The guy who owns Congress Hall owns 62 acres, and their harvest goes to the restaurants and the hotels that we pay. Neat place to fire pits. You can actually bring cabins there, produce stand, you can do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Kids love it because they love to beat the chickens down. Right next to that is Willow Creek Winery. Anybody been to Willow Creek? You gotta go over there. And I'm not into winery, but this place is beautiful. And Mac does wine tours. And they were really hard up for a chaperone. So guess who got the cool? I don't know anything about wine. Okay, why not? It was so cool. 25 people get on the trolley. It took about Willow Creek to start the tour. We did 3 tastings. Got back on the trolley. Everybody was smiling. Oh, we're done. We go up to Hawkhaven, Walter Township. And they did 5 more tastings. Get back on the trolley. No stickers. Really rock. But we're not done. Went out to Middletown and Tally Vineyards. And they did 7 tastings there. And I'm thinking this is going to be a problem. These guys were great. They were all grilled. They had a little free wine glass. They had the best day ever. So check that out. Some of the wineries and everything. And then the festivals. You know, the Strawberry Festival, that's great. But the big one is the Lima Bean Festival. This is way cool. Everything Lima Bean. Lima Bean soup. Lima Bean ice cream. And the big event is the crowning of the Lima Bean Committee. That's right. And our main duty is to ride on the back of your boat to the incredible West Cape May Christmas parade. Every year, first Saturday in December. Last year, 15,000 people came to this parade. 3 hours long. Every fire engine in the world on this thing. Marching bands, civic groups, dance groups, church groups. It's amazing. The lady who put this thing together 60 years ago, her name was Charlotte. She was known as the parade lady. The locals, the day before, put their chair out on the roof to reserve their spot. Charlotte loved the mummers, you know, the guys with the wild suits from Philly. Every year, we've got mummers string bands in this parade.